Brought to you by Gamezy. Win up to rupees 5 crores every day. Download the app now.
Well, there were a lot of question marks about this Delhi Capitals versus the Punjab Kings game. But fortunately, apart from Mitchell Marsh, no other Delhi players have tested positive for COVID. And the game has been moved from Pune to the Brabant Stadium in Mumbai. But we'll go through. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the fantasy picks from this game. Well, among the budget buys, I have picked 4 bowlers, 2 from Delhi Capitals and 2 from Punjab Kings. From the Delhi Capitals, I have been very impressed with 2 guys. Kuldeep Yadav, we know, even though he went for a few runs in the last game, still the kind of performances, 2 man of the match awards in this IPL so far. So I'll definitely have him in the side. I have been impressed by Khalil Ahmed also. And again, last game did not pick that many wickets, but because of what they have done previously, I'm going to pick both of them in my 11. Now let's look at Punjab Kings. Again, Arshdeep Singh has been for me one of the best bowlers at the death for Punjab, not just Punjab actually, in this IPL so far. And even though he doesn't have many wickets to show for, I think those wickets are round the corner with the kind of bowling we have seen from him. Phenomenal with the Yorkers, those wide Yorkers towards the end, and people have found it really hard to hit him for boundaries. So Arshdeep Singh is one of those guys who will be there in my side. I have also picked Rahul Chahar. Again, last game got smashed in the first over, but then in the next 3 overs he gave away only 11 runs. And then last game again got his side back into the encounter with 2 wickets for 28 runs from his 4 overs. So Rahul Chahar is a wicket taking option, and because of that I'll have him also in my side, and because he's not available for a lot of credits on the Gamezy app. So Rahul Chahar and Arshdeep Singh complete my budget buys from the Punjab Kings. Overseas options. Well, Delhi have got plenty of problems when it comes to their overseas personnel. We know David Warner and Mustafizur Rahman will play for sure. But apart from that, with no Mitchell Marsh because he's out due to COVID, and Rovman Pal also not performing up to his potential from what they expected of him, it becomes a huge problem. Who do they pick? Tim Seifert is there. Tim Seifert they could look at, but again he was dropped after the first 2 games, and he's usually an opener. Maybe they could look at him playing at number 3 instead of Mitchell Marsh, but I'm not too sure whether that works for them or not. But apart from that, there's Enric Nokia also, and there's Lungi Ngidi. Nokia, I'm not sure whether he has injury issues or whether he was dropped. What happened? Because in his first game when he returned from the injury, you know that he bowled those 2 beamers and was removed from the attack, right? After that he was dropped from the next game, and we haven't seen him till now. Maybe this game he's fit enough to play. Really not sure whether it's fitness or whether it's just form that Delhi think that he's not good enough to be in their playing 11. But because they retained him, I really think that if he's fit he'll play. And that one game, this game where he bowled 2 beamers, could be just a one-off thing. Maybe he gets an opportunity, or maybe somebody like a Lungi Ngidi gets an opportunity also, because otherwise they won't be able to fill their 4 overseas options. Well, we have seen in the past also, Delhi in fact played only 2 overseas options in their first game. So maybe they could revert back to something like that and could have somebody like an Indian, like Ripal Patel, who could be in the side, because he's also another all-rounder, can give you a few overs with the ball. And I was seeing the practice footage from the Delhi Capitals, okay, on Instagram, where Ripal Patel was smashing them. So maybe he gets an opportunity. Now on to the Punjab Kings. Again, for Punjab Kings, we know that 2 guys who will definitely be there are Liam Livingston and Kagiso Rabada for sure short starters. Okay, Odean Smith form a huge concern. First game won them the game. That 4 wicket haul he had in the last game was also fine. But what is expected of him? He scored 13 runs for 15 balls. That's not what you expect from Odean Smith. You want those quick fire runs towards the end. Plus he bowled just 1 over last time around. So again, a huge problem that way. And maybe they could look at making few changes to their side to, take Odean Smith off their roster for that 11 and probably get Bhanuka Rajpaksa in, and then they could look at taking an Indian batsman out, like one of Jitesh Sharma or Shah Rukh Khan goes out and Harpreet Brar could come in. So they could look at those combinations, or they could look at a like for like replacement in the form of Benny Howell, who by the way, bats and bowls for Gloucestershire. I've seen him in the T20 Blast over the years, and he's been a good performer for them for a number of years. And maybe he gets his opportunity now, because Odean Smith, for me, maybe he proves me wrong, but he really hasn't done a lot in the last few games. Apart from that, Johnny Bairstow, even though Bairstow has played 3 games so far, and those 3 games really he hasn't been up to the mark, but maybe this game he comes good with the bat, and I don't think Punjab will drop him this easily, because Bairstow, we know if he gets going, he'll score quite a few runs. So those were your overseas options from these two sides. Captaincy choices. We know David Warner has been in sensational form. After that 3 runs of 12 balls in his first game, he has looked in great touch, scored 50s after that. So again, a great pick in terms of captains. And then Rishabh Pant also. We saw with Shreyas Iyer scoring those runs, even though he struggled, he scored 150 only. Rishabh Pant, similar season so far, has got starts but really hasn't made the most of it. Maybe this game it might change, because Rishabh Pant in IPL games, he'll at least produce 1 or 2 great knocks. Maybe it's coming this game. And because his side really needs it, because Mitchell Marsh and what has happened with the entire COVID fiasco, everything that has gone down over the past few days, I think so Rishabh Pant could lead them from the front. So not a bad punt. And even Prithvi Shaw, for that matter, could be a good pick, because scored 250s in a row, then last game didn't do that well. Maybe this game again he comes to the party for the Delhi Capitals. For the Punjab Kings, my favourite is Liam Livingstone, of course. Bowls 2-3 overs, with Odean Smith always going for runs these days. Liam Livingstone will bowl 2-3 overs, and then the kind of batting we have seen from him, 350s, right, in 4 innings, if I'm not wrong. So that way he's been brilliant, and again a good pick. Another 2 people that you could be looking at is Mayank Agarwal, if he is fit enough. Was not there in the last game and was a big miss at the top of the order for the Punjab Kings. But if Mayank is fit, again a good pick, a decent punt, if you'd call it, because he also can score very quickly, and 50, 60, has scored hundreds in the IPL before. Again, he might come to the party. Dhawan, consistency is the key for him. 30 odd run he scores almost every game, we know that for sure. Maybe this time he'll go and kick on and get a bigger score. So those were my captaincy choices from these 2 teams. Now my fantasy 11. Well, David Warner I have gone with. I have picked Prithvi Shaw as well. Then I have picked both the Punjab openers, because I am hoping as well that Mayank Agarwal will come back. So Mayank Agarwal is there, Shikhar Dhawan is there. Then I have got Liam Livingstone. I have got among the bowlers Arshdeep Singh, Rahul Chahar, Kagiso Rabada, Khalil Ahmed, Kuldeep Yadav, and then one among Akshar Patel, Mustafizur and Shardul. I'll pick depending on what I go with my gut feeling on that particular day. So you could pick any of them to complete your 11, because Akshar Patel picked up a wicket in the last game. Shardul also bowled. Shardul had his best bowling performance, in fact, against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So he could be somebody you could look at. Mustafizur, last game went for a few runs, but before that he was really good. So very hard to pick among these 3, because Akshar you get some batting also, and Shardul too, but maybe Mustafizur, maybe Shardul, maybe Akshar. It's all up to you. By the way, download the Gamezy app, because you can win up to 5 crore rupees in prizes. The teams that I told you, budget buys, everything I compile is according to the players that are available on the Gamezy app, and according to the credits that are there which you buy them with. So make sure you make your team on the Gamezy app, and download it through the description below, because you can get a bonus. So if you deposit 50 rupees, you can get a first time bonus of 50 rupees, because Gamezy will match whatever you're depositing, guys. So make sure you make your team and you download the app through the link below. Thank you for watching.